Jurassic Park. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Buffer, Neutrona Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some Podcast.
Do I? Yes, have some. Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
All right, we are ready to roll here. Jake.
Are we?
Yeah, we're rolling.
What a good opening.
That's a good opening. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
I feel confident.
Welcome to episode 138 of Yes Have Some Podcast. Before we started recording, Jake was reading us some news. Jake, you're like a newsman.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm just talking. I don't know. I just looked it up on the internet, and the internet showed me some news.
Okay.
I was gonna play it off as I'm some sort of newsman. I'm not a newsman.
You're no.
In fact, not a newsman.
He's no newsman. I'll tell you that much.
Unless it's
Bloody
aliens
disgusting as the newsman.
related.
That is like my sort. Like I don't read the real news. I just read the bloody disgusting news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
I would know what was happening in the world if bloody disgusting reported on
Right.
True.
Exactly.
Well, cool. So I hope everybody's doing well. Jake, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday, dude.
The last time we recorded, it was almost your birthday, and now it is past your birthday.
It is past, yes.
So really, it's on to almost being your birthday again. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's almost your birthday.
We're closer than we
Our
were
far.
yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
Abby, how are you
It's like
doing?
the day after Dragon Con when you start the countdown to next year's Dragon Con.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah. I think for our listeners, that's what it's like too. So
I count down to everything. I'm like, when's lunch? Countdown. What's the countdown?
I think
wait, was
Craig's
it-
birthday is coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Right?
March, the day before Linden Porco Day. That's what I call St. Patrick's Day now.
Craig, you know what? Here's a fun little fact. I bought you a birthday present on my birthday trip.
That is awesome.
yeah, that's kind of special.
I ended up at a store.
How generous.
And I saw something and I was like, whoa, this is cool. Let me check eBay prices. Then I ordered it on eBay for a little cheaper than it was in the store.
That's called the Yes Have Some way.
Now that's a
the
virgin.
Jake and
What
Craig
is that?
developed way of shopping.
That was a Craig move, I felt. I felt like you doing that.
That's got to be some sort of a barge, a bargain barge, maybe
A bargain, an eBay, an e-barge. I don't know.
a
something.
bargain. Somebody will name it.
Yeah, I think it's smart on your part to be like, well, we did this yesterday. We were trying to figure out what we wanted to watch, so we went to Best Buy to look at the DVDs, not to purchase
Wait,
them,
hold on.
just to be inspired.
You were like, hey, what should we watch? I don't know. Let's go to Best Buy and just look.
Yes, let's go walk around. It's the closest thing to having a Blockbuster, which that's part of the experience, is like looking at the covers.
True.
Yeah, I remember going to Blockbuster and I'm not going to rent this tonight, but soon I'm getting into this. But for tonight, we're going Terminator 2
Tonight,
again.
still Tommy Boy.
Abby, you were watching Tommy Boy the other day.
I did. I wasn't feeling well, so I watched it. I had Craig bring the VHS compatible television, which is now, I know it's a VCR. He brought it into the room, and I was able to watch. I watched Aladdin, and I also watched Tommy Boy. And I just felt it was like a completion. It was something I wanted when I was little. I really wanted a TV set in my room. So having that.
You watched Tommy Boy to completion?
Yes. I watched the whole thing.
All right, cool.
still good.
Listen, I'm ready to go meet Dan Aykroyd and talk. We're going to Tommy Boy Fan
Yeah,
Fest.
speaking of countdowns, it's 100 days till we meet Dan Aykroyd.
100 days till Fan Fest.
Whew.
Oof. All right. Well, cool. So we got a lot of ground to cover. But before we get going, I did want to let everybody know that if you haven't gotten in on these Patreon episodes yet, you're missing out. I'm just putting it out there. Yes Have Some on Patreon. It's the absolute best way to support Yes Have Some. It helps us keep on the lights, and you get episodes. So we do 2 to 3 bonus episodes a month. It's $5 whole a month. That's all it costs. And as soon as you sign up, you get access to all the bonus episodes we've already done. So really, that's the bargain barge, if you think about it.
Yeah.
All of them.
So if you're interested in signing up, if you like what you've been hearing from Yes Have Some, and I know we've had a lot of new listeners reaching out, it's amazing what a new Ghostbusters movie does for us.
Oh, it's great.
It's great
We
for
need one
business.
every couple of years.
Every couple
Every time
months.
every few years when we're just like, hey guys, should we just stop? Are we done with this podcast?
Yeah.
Done.
We need
Yeah.
a Ghostbusters movie.
We've
like,
said
are we gonna
everything
talk about
there is
books?
to say. No, so we've been having a ton of fun doing these bonus episodes. So if you want to get in, you're going to go to patreon.com/yeshavesome. Sign up. It's $5 a month. We're doing 2 to 3 episodes a month. Guess what? We're recording one tonight. We're going to have a couple special guests.
Ooh.
That's how we roll.
Oh yeah, we are.
I think.
I
Tell me
didn't know
more.
I mean, they're I don't want to say they're
Surprise
special,
guests.
but they're guests. They're somebody.
All right.
So cool. That's what we have going on at Patreon. And I think we've done like 20, 25 episodes or something like that. So like I said, if you sign up, you get right in on those episodes.
Get the full experience.
It's like, okay.
Because we'll reference those bonus episodes and you won't know unless
It's class 10. It's YHS
It's
class 10.
Exactly. But way cheaper.
Shit.
It's got a 5 in it. But, you know.
Are we getting class 10 tattoos? Because I think we should.
Abby had this idea the other day.
Okay.
And I wanted, Abby, why don't you throw this idea to Jake? And I want to hear how this goes. I'm just going to referee.
Well, I haven't really thought about it any further than I would like a tattoo that says class 10, like on my person. And I don't know if it's like a wrist or like behind the ear or like on the neck, the back of the neck, shoulder blade.
Abby was like, hey, when we go to California, let's get class 10 tattoos. I'm like, oh, cool. You think Jake's going to want to get a tattoo from a stranger in California?
Let's do each other's.
Let's do each other.
Well, didn't they do that with Suicide Squad? Like they all gave each other tattoos?
I guarantee they're regretting
So that's
that.
what we should do.
They should have just,
I don't want Craig tattooing me. I want Jake tattooing me, just for the record.
hey, I could probably draw the words
I would have
class
lined
10.
paper on my tattoo.
Okay. Listen, another thing before we get started, if you're a new or old listener to Yes Have Some and you have not left a review, these things help us a lot. So all you got to do, go to iTunes, search for Yes Have Some podcast, take like 15 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and also let us know what you think about the podcast. It literally takes no time, helps us a ton, and unfortunately, there's nowhere else you can review the podcast. Even if you don't listen to us on iTunes, you got to go to iTunes to do it. So we've been loving reading these reviews. 5 stars is what we're asking for. If you want to leave a 3-star review, we're going to ask you to find another podcast to do that. Any other podcast is fine. Just don't do it for ours. And that's all I had to say about that. That's my... What'd you guys think about my speech there? Was it pretty good?
It sounded a little forceful.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like kind of like
you just
angry?
Take it down. Take it down a little bit.
Like, I feel like I need to go leave a review now.
A little threatening.
Okay, maybe I'll just let me change it. But like, I mean, you can leave a review like if you want to. I don't really care.
There you go.
Like if you have nothing better to do
Yeah.
than leave reviews for podcasts, I guess we'll take it.
Okay, I'm definitely not leaving a review now.
Okay.
You're being borderline mean. So.
I tried to soften it up and it ended up being meaner.
Yeah. Just sound like
cool.
an asshole.
Well, we'll get started.
Please leave
here.
us reviews. We love you.
Abby.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got some stress coming up later, but we there's a lot going on. I feel like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Did you guys watch the Oscars?
I sure did.
Oh.
Jake, did you?
No,
Nah.
not at all.
Well, Jake, how do you know which movies are good? If you don't watch
How are
the
you gonna know?
Oscars.
I guess I don't. I guess I don't, as we're gonna find out in a few minutes when we talk about A Star Is Born.
Hey, listen.
Hey.
We finally watched Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't. it sucks, right?
Can I? I get a text. I get a text from Craig. I don't know what time it is. Sometime last night that says we're 20 minutes into Bohemian Rhapsody. It's garbage.
Yeah. I mean, is it weird to say that I wanted it to be worse or like more over the top, like Rockstar almost?
Like I was even more cheesy.
Yeah,
kind
if it had been more cheesy, it would have been more likable.
Because it is very cheesy.
Yeah,
It's very cheesy.
It made me want whatever that, like, I'm not going to act like I know everything about Queen, but I feel like there's a grittier, tougher story that could have been told like the Wrestler style. And whatever this was like there was just a lot that was omitted, and like it was a diet light version of the whole
Diet
story.
Queen. I love that. They should have called this movie Queen Zero.
And Rami Malek is cool to look at, and I believe he's pretty captivating on screen. I'm not going to take that away from him, but like, I feel like Freddie Mercury's story has probably some depth to it that I would have liked to have like plunged into the whole thing.
My biggest problems, by the way, welcome to Yes Have Some Podcast, where we review movies 6 months after they come out.
Yeah.
Right.
My biggest issue
Deal
with it is like I do like Queen a lot. I'm a pretty big fan, and like Freddie Mercury was not only one of the greatest frontmen of all time, but he was also very like complex and complicated, and there is a deep dive story to be told. It was originally going to be Sacha Baron Cohen playing Freddie Mercury, and it was going to be kind of different. The band Queen, the remaining members, you could tell they're trying to rewrite history. Like there was multiple parts in the movie where it was like there was literally a line where they were like, Freddie Mercury was like, "There is no Freddie Mercury without you guys," and I was just like, nah. I think there is.
There's some revisionist history.
Like, I feel like it's like we do. And also I looked it up. There's like just multiple things in the movie that like, you know, the whole, we won't spend too much time on this, but you know, the whole thing about how like they break up for a couple of years and get back together for Live Aid.
That never happened.
That's not what happened. They didn't even break up. Like
and that the whole Live Aid thing was kind of completely. Yeah, they didn't break up. They also like he did do a solo record, but they were just like, yeah, okay, go do your solo record.
Yeah,
they were
no
still
drama.
They were still touring. There was a show. They did shows not that long before.
Live Aid.
They also didn't know he had AIDS. He didn't even know he had AIDS at the Live Aid performance.
He
like
still
that didn't
doesn't.
happen until later.
Okay, all of that's crazy. What I found harder to believe was that him and his like the guy that he picked up, his boyfriend, were wearing the exact same outfit on that day, which all happened in one day.
Yeah, it was
but also
weird.
I feel like they're ripping off that episode of Saved by the Bell when they start a band and Zach Morris like goes off and does his own thing.
That's what I thought.
That's
the
what I
whole
thought.
time. I thought I was watching Saved by the Bell at one point.
Friends Forever.
So yeah, there's just some weird stuff. Obviously, the music's great. Rami Malek didn't like. They got like an impersonator to do a lot of the songs, and he was obviously whoever that is did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, can we talk about the Mike Myers thing?
Yeah, sure.
So Mike Myers plays like this record executive who just sits in this chair. He doesn't move. And it's clearly Mike Myers. And you kind of feel like you're watching Austin Powers for a second. Like just him playing some British character. And he's like, he says this thing like they're trying to get them to, Freddie Mercury wants to release Bohemian Rhapsody as a single. And he's pushing for another song. And he looks at the camera and goes, "We need a song that teenagers will ride in the car and headbang to. And nobody's ever going to do that to Bohemian Rhapsody." And then it slightly
so
pauses.
ominous.
I'm like, cool Wayne's World reference. What am I watching?
It made me just want to watch Wayne's World.
For the
because it's a
record,
better
Wayne's World is
movie.
literally one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's fine. I would say this movie is fine.
It is just fine, and it will keep your attention like from at least the beginning till the end.
From at least that.
It won't leave you with anything like lasting.
I agree. Like I thought it was fine. It does. I think this movie and A Star Is Born, they both kind of have some of the same tricks up their sleeves. Neither one of them is like a bad movie, but I don't think either one of them is a great movie either. And the Queen movie has the advantage of having a lot of Queen music in it. Mm-hmm. And like nobody, like who doesn't like Queen song? Like even if you're not a huge Queen fan, like everybody's like, oh, I like that song. I like Queen. Like everyone likes Queen a little bit. So it's like, even if the rest of the movie sucks, even if it's like super bad, you still like every few minutes get to listen to like a Queen song. And they also take all the heavy stuff out, and they end on a very, like, the movie ends on a very uplifting, fun, like, moment. You know what I mean? Like, you get to watch like a whole Queen concert.
It's so uplifting and fun that, like, I'm surprised they didn't just rewrite history, and then it's like at the end, like, and everybody lived happily ever after.
Freddie Mercury is now living with his 15 cats. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like, it's like the movie. I don't understand how people are seeing, like, I know someone who has seen this movie 9 times in the theater. Oh. And I'm like, really? Like, it's not like, yeah, Queen's fun. There's some fun moments here and there, but it's not great. It's not like overall the movie's not great.
Yeah, like it scratches the surface. It reminded me of Solo, actually, the way that it's like, well, how did they think of this song? Well, how did Freddie get his name? Like, it's very similar to the way Solo got his last name and like got his gear, kind of like, you could have gone a little deeper. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But anyways, so he won Best Actor for this movie. I'm not gonna. Like,
I don't know what a lot of the movies that were up this year, I had not seen, or even like know what some of them are. And I feel like in years past, I had seen, you know, a higher number of the Oscar movies. So it's like I can't really say like, well, he didn't deserve it, because I don't know what he was up against really. But just seeing this movie, I'm like, that's it. That's all there was this year. Like, this is the movie that's winning Oscars. I don't know. I don't get it.
Last thing on Bohemian Rhapsody, it kind of feels weird because Bryan Singer directed it, and he's like legit not a good person.
Yeah.
And it is weird also how this entire award season, nobody has said his name once. So, until I brought it up. Real quick, Jake, you finally watched A Star Is Born. You weren't thrilled. I did, yeah. You weren't thrilled.
No.
But Bradley Cooper is my favorite actor.
Jake.
He's literally my favorite actor.
He's good. Yeah, he's good in this. I kind of like, I don't know. I said this to you guys yesterday. I don't know what it is about Bradley Cooper, but I always expect that I'm going to hate him.
Well, he's got that face where you're like, I could punch that guy.
I guess it's his face. I don't know, but I
is
always
it the Hangover? Is
maybe
it because
I really. What was that, Abby?
I said, is it because of the Hangover that, like, I understand that you could assist?
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe it's because of the Hangover, because I thought that movie was fucking trash, and maybe I hated that movie so much that it just, every time I see his name, it still lingers. I don't know, but I went into this being like, God, I hope that I don't hate Bradley Cooper, and I did not. I think him and Lady Gaga are both. They're both good in it. They're both good actors. I don't think it was a bad movie, but I think maybe 95% of the songs are really bad. Especially the one that won the Oscar. I don't think that's even close to being the best song in all of the songs.
You're talking about The Shallow?
Yeah, Shallows. I was that's a
shark like movie.
You know, in the movie, whenever that scene comes up where she just like says the lyrics off the top of her head, and he's like, "You're a songwriter." I'm like, no, she just she made that up off the top of her head, and it literally sounds like it. Like, it sounds like she wrote that in 5 seconds. It's not. I don't know. I felt like that about a lot of the songs in the movie. It's like, I also can't sympathize with someone who is such an awful drunk. I just can't. Like,
yeah, I see your.
You know, like when it got to the end, like we can spoil this movie, right?
All right. We're about to spoil.
It's the 4th remake of a story. It's been out forever. We're spoiling it.
We're about to spoil it. Turn it off.
So he kills himself, and I was just like, so what? He's such a shitty person. He's such a shitty person. Like, they're both not great to each other. She's violent. He's a fucking awful drunk who like ruins her like moment of like pissing on himself. And I was just like, this relationship's not great. These songs aren't great. I don't care about these people at all. I did not. I just can't get behind like, I don't know. I just didn't give a fuck. Like, I can't sympathize with, like, you're drunk because you're fucking drinking. Just stop it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't give a fuck about it.
I really like the part where she's like rehearsing for SNL and he's watching and he realizes like her songs are just like shitty pop songs. And he's just, he's like, what the gets mad about it.
Yeah. He's like, he gives her these like underhanded, like, he's like, I guess I failed you or something. I don't know. He's like, he calls her embarrassing and shit. And I'm like, oh, that's a great thing. Like, I don't know. I just didn't quite get some of it. I don't think the movie was bad. I think both of them are great actors. And like, usually musicians are pretty fucking awful actors. So, you know,
and usually actors can't like, I will say
she also has a great voice. Like, she also has such a great fucking. I was like, I don't care. I don't need to hear Bradley Cooper. Just let her sing.
Yeah, let her do it.
Yeah,
but maybe let somebody who knows how to write songs write these songs. I thought like there's this thing that happens, and I think Bohemian Rhapsody in this movie, the thing that they have in common is they both kind of trick you into like they're both very emotional, but in different ways. Like, A Star Is Born is very sad and it's very like melancholy and slow and all that. And that's just the sound of the music will give you this like kind of sad feeling until you start actually listening to those fucking childish lyrics. I'm like, this is not well written. It's like, it's tricking me because it sounds sad, but it's not good.
Jake, I felt tricked. Hey,
they tried to get me.
I will say
the saddest part to me was the part where he like left the dog outside when he hung himself. I'm like, what if that dog gets hit by a car?
I felt bad for the dog for sure. I think I disagree with Jake in regards to this. I think the songs are catchy. Like, I'm not going to say the entire soundtrack is my favorite, but I was listening to it today. And I think that Always Remember Us This Way is a fantastic song. And once I put that on, I just kind of kept going through the whole, like, I listened to Shallow after that and what's the song she sings? I'll Never Love Again. Like,
I think it's the one she sings at the end.
Yeah, that's the very last one.
And that just reminds me of Whitney Houston. I'm a sucker for, like, dude, A Walk to Remember, like those kind of movies that you watch that you know something really hard and difficult and tragic in that way is going to happen at the end. They're not my most favorite movies, and when I sat through A Star Is Born with Craig, I can attest that he was unable to like compose himself.
That's not true.
Or walk out of the movie when it was over.
No. See,
he missed the last 10 minutes.
You're misremembering. Hey.
I saw the last 10 minutes.
Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
To all of our new listeners who tuned in for us to talk about Ghostbusters, we're very sorry.
Bradley Cooper.
I want to give some credit, is what the word I'm looking for. Bradley Cooper, first-time director, and he acted in it and did the songs.
Yeah, finally he's got something going for him.
Pretty impressive, okay?
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We don't have to go much further. So congratulations to Green Book. I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen Black Klansman yet. I really
Coming
want
for
to.
You. Gonna watch that, yeah.
So I always like to catch up on these movies after the fact.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
That's how I do it.
Cool.
We'll get around to it.
I'll see the favorite at some point.
Couple more things. We'll rapid fire these. Ghostbusters 3, there really hasn't been much news.
Are we not going to talk about the biggest moment from the Oscars for me personally?
What was that?
When Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won animated feature film.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a big deal. To me. No, to Ryan and to like everyone else who worked on that. I feel like that was super fucking cool. I got very excited.
I thought I saw that it was like kind of the first wasn't it like the first non-Disney animated movie
in a while? Yeah,
cool.
Something like that.
To win, yeah.
Friend of the podcast and member of the Ghostbusters, some Canadian thing. Just kidding. British Columbia. The Canada Ghostbusters of British Columbia. Ryan Dole, a great friend of ours, and
yeah, sure.
He worked on the VFX side of things on Spider-Verse, and he put up a really cool video on Twitter that got like 1,000 retweets or something of him and his entire team reacting to the Oscar win. So that's just really cool to know that we have award-winning listeners to the podcast, and maybe one day we'll win an award.
Yeah.
And then we'll be award-winning, and so will the listeners.
Sure.
Yeah.
But congratulations. There's also...
Wait, we'll get a baby Oscar.
That's all we're going to get is a
getting.
little baby. We've had a baby Oscar on the podcast.
We did.
There you go.
Okay.
Cool. Ghostbusters 3, not much since last week. The only thing that's come out is that Jason Reitman was meeting with potential cast members over the weekend, and the 4 kids that are being cast are between the ages of 12 and 17, and according to sources, 2 sets of siblings. So,
Okay.
I kind of like it because I love siblings.
Okay.
What a weird thing
Love
to say.
sibs.
Sure.
No, I think
I always celebrate Siblings Day.
I am me. I thought of Henry in E.T. and his brother, and how much they got along. I don't know. I feel like so. Jason Reitman. There was a thing. It was the 5-year anniversary of Harold Ramis passing this week. People were posting stuff, and I guess when Harold Ramis died, Jason Reitman tweeted that Egon was his favorite Ghostbuster, in that it felt like he had lost one of the Beatles. So it makes me think that the Spangler legacy is going to be in play in this movie. And I wouldn't be surprised if 2 of these kids are the grandchildren of Egon or something like that, or somehow related to him.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd be his kids because of that wouldn't really match up for age-wise. But I keep getting this vibe, and I don't think anybody's really talked about this yet. What if the movie... Okay, here's a shot in the dark. What if the movie is about these kids who are the grandchildren of Spangler or Stantz or something, and they never knew their grandfather because their parents had a falling out with them? And what if it's about their parents becoming the new generation? Everybody keeps saying, I don't want to see kids running around in proton packs. Well, it's just because there's kids in the movie doesn't mean that the new Ghostbusters are going to be 4 kids. Maybe these kids just play a part in bringing the Ghostbusters back.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and that makes perfect sense to me.
See?
I don't want to speak too much, but yeah, if you've got 4 sets of siblings or 2 sets of siblings, if the way you're saying it, parents come into play, pick up the gear. I could see that. I could see one of the kids maybe crossing over to the other side, and that being the reason they have to kind of go after him, Stranger Things style. So, yeah.
Dying, that could get dark.
Abby, you think kids are dying in this movie?
Somehow,
I hope so.
getting sucked into something.
I'm into that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
These kids find the equipment, and they one of them accidentally gets trapped.
Maybe.
One fucking blasts the other one.
Yeah. They accidentally put a kid into the containment unit. That'd be cool.
And then Slimer has to show him around and help him out.
Wait, the next kid's in Slimer's
It's like an episode
world?
of the real Ghostbusters.
Somebody brought up, what if it is Ray kind of living out in the middle of nowhere, being a hermit, and he has Slimer living with him as a pet?
God,
He's like Hagrid?
Wait, hold on. That's probably pretty likely.
That's amazing.
I mean,
I wouldn't doubt that. Him and Slimer just hanging out. The movie opens, the first time you see Ray, he's sitting, the door's open, and it's you can see him sitting at a table through the door. He's eating Chinese food, talking to somebody. And then when it finally pans through, he's sharing food with Slimer.
That's amazing.
I'm thinking of Uncle Buck, he's passed out on the couch with the dog with the frosted flakes all over him. I'm into Pet Slimer.
Me too. Oh my God.
It's still Ghostbusters. I think everybody keeps leaning towards this highly emotional family story, but there's gonna be some silly shit in this movie.
Yeah.
And if it's Pet Slimer, I can take that.
I love that. I see Ray getting a to-go box at the restaurant and taking it home to Slimer, getting a second meal.
Well, God, I can't believe it. I love talking about Ghostbusters, but really there's not a whole lot more to talk about this week. But as we have promised, any breaking news, anything that comes out, even Fan Fest, there really wasn't a whole lot more information since last week. The only thing that has been confirmed, and somebody confirmed it today through customer service at Wizard World, is that the real Ghostbusters photo op and autograph is also included in the Class 10 package. So they do build off each other because the messaging wasn't 100% clear on the website. So
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's inclusive and it builds, right?
It's inclusive. Okay, cool. Real quick, Aubrey Plaza, there was an interview with her talking about the new Child's Play movie. She says it's Spielberg-esque and is extremely faithful to the tone of the original, as in, the first one's kind of like an action drama horror movie and maybe not as heavy on the chuckles, the Chucky chuckles. And she said that she wouldn't do a remake of a horror movie unless she was like super into it. She said the script was fantastic. But she did kind of heavily imply that this is going to be technology gone wrong. And it doesn't sound like, from what we know so far, like there's going to be like the voodoo witchcraft element to this movie. Jake, did you read this article with Aubrey Plaza?
I did, yeah.
What'd you think?
She says some strange things here. Like, first of all, I try not to put too much like when an actor is in a movie and they talk about the movie they're in, I think the best thing to do is just kind of ignore them because, one, they're not going to say anything bad about the movie that's coming out that they're in. And also, excuse me, also they're just people like we are. And who knows if Aubrey Plaza, like, I don't know what her history with horror movies are and how much she really likes horror movies or anything. And her saying that it has a Spielberg vibe, like, that has become a thing that people just say when kids are in movies now. And that doesn't mean, like, to me, there is a special kind of feeling to make it like a Spielberg vibe. You know what I mean? And it's like, sure, that could be in here, but also is it? Or are we just saying that because it's kids running from something supernatural?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
hey, The Lost World had a Spielberg vibe. That didn't mean
exactly,
it was good.
Exactly. But
does that just mean it feels 80s?
I try to just kind of ignore what actors are saying about, like, when they come out and they're like, oh yeah, it's good, it's like the original. I'm like, okay, well, you're in it. You're not allowed to say anything bad about it.
Dude, what if Aubrey Plaza was like, yeah,
she
this
also
thing
said
sucks.
she hasn't seen it yet. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know, but she does say some weird, like, I got it right here. I'm going to read this. She says, I can't reveal too much. We're not supposed to talk about Chucky. It builds for Karen. Karen is the character that she plays. It says, it builds for Karen in a way that I'm interacting with Chucky by the end, but I'm mostly dealing with my son, who I almost believe is behind the mayhem. And then she says, the horror of it all will be for the audience. For me, it's more of a psychological thriller. So, like, that's weird. It sounds a lot like most of the movie, everybody except the audience thinks that Andy is the one doing everything. And that is... You get a little bit of that in the original, like the movie, the first 20, 30 minutes or so of the, like, until you actually see Chucky doing shit, it is also kind of framed in a way where you could be like, well, is the kid just crazy?
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
Abby, what did you think of those comments?
I mean, I'm not sure if Spielbergian is a word. And I, just like Jake, kind of will take it with a grain of salt, especially since she hasn't seen the entire movie. But I do think that it's kind of cool that she references that the tone in the original movie was a little bit more serious and that this feels like that, or that it's like in the same tone, and that she's acknowledging that they got sillier as they moved on, which is true.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I'm excited for this movie still. This doesn't, like, it's nothing like hard fact. It's not any more like of the movie that we can actually see, but I am already excited, so this would probably just make me a little bit more excited.
Yeah, I mean, just based on the trailer, I'm excited about this movie.
You guys ever watch, like, whenever a movie's coming out, and this happens a lot with, like, Star Wars or any major movie, when a teaser trailer will come out, you'll get, like, all sorts of videos on YouTube of people with their theories about whatever aspects of the movie, like based off of nothing in a trailer. They're like, oh, well, that's me. This is what I think is going to happen. I watched one of those for this movie, and this guy was trying. I was looking up something completely separate from the remake, and just kind of fell down like a rabbit hole of watching videos. And I found this video where a guy thinks that his theory is that Chucky's voice in this movie is going to be the voice of Andy's father. He's like, there's no father figure in these trailers. It looks like maybe his dad is maybe passed away or something. And he was like, in the promotional artwork for the Buddy toy, it is like said stuff about like voice recognition. We know it's like high tech. We're like, what if it can like sound like your loved one? And he was like, maybe Chucky will have the voice of his father, and that will kind of add a whole other like, psychological layer to the craziness of what's happening. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, I guess. And he was also like, who knows? Maybe his dad, maybe that's a way for the voice to, not be like a mimic of Brad Dourif, but also like it could sound like whatever they wanted it to sound like. So I'm like, I mean, obviously that's like a stretch, and it's just coming from nothing. Some guy.
But it's fun.
But it's still fun to read or listen to insane theories about.
I think kind of like the Pet Sematary trailer, like how it's almost good that they revealed that twist, so you're not like taken aback in the theater. I hope they reveal Chucky's voice in one of these trailers.
I think they will.
Because I don't want to be like watching it and like, oh my God, his voice is so awful. How am I going to like get through this movie?
Yeah. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot like, I felt the same way for Pennywise when they, I was like, they're going to reveal it. And, much like the It trailer, the teaser, I don't even think really showed Pennywise. You know what I mean? It was like such a small amount that you were seeing. You definitely didn't hear him in the teaser. It wasn't until the full trailer started to come out that you started to get more and more of it. And what we got so far definitely was a teaser. I'm sure when the next trailer comes out, we're going to see Chucky. We're going to hear, we're going to know exactly what we're getting.
Yeah.
Well,
I look forward to that. I'm excited.
Real quick, before I don't want to steal anybody's stress. So, Jake, what's your stress tonight? Give me a clue what your stress is about.
Okay.
It's toy related mostly.
Okay, good. There's a Gremlins animated series coming out. That's what I forgot to put in the rundown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And being one of the self-proclaimed biggest Gremlins podcasts in the world, I thought we should talk about this real quick too. There's really no information other than it's an animated series. It's going to be through Warner Brothers like streaming service. And it's a period piece that would follow Mr. Wing, the Chinese grandfather played in the films by Kay Luke, as a young man as he goes on adventures with the friendly Mogwai Gizmo. Now.
Oh, weird. Okay. No Billy at all then.
No, and honestly, wow. I had a couple thoughts. A, I feel like we had this idea recently. I feel like we already pitched this.
Who's listening?
B, does that mean his name's not going to be Gizmo? Is he just going to be Mogwai?
Oh. It wouldn't make any sense for his name to be Gizmo because his name, he doesn't get that name until.
But doesn't that sound like a throwback cartoon? That sounds like the Beetlejuice cartoon.
It does. It definitely sounds like a. I think when you do a cartoon like that, it doesn't matter if a little bit of the continuity is weird or like they're still gonna. Of course, they're still gonna call him Gizmo, right?
But is there gonna be a song like Gizmo,
Gizmo,
Gizmo?
I hope so.
He travels the world to see the greatest thing.
He's a friendly gremlin.
Yeah,
friendly gremlin we love.
Traveling the world.
He's at the Eiffel Tower, the Great Wall of China. Listen.
Yeah,
I like it.
I do too. It feels
I'm
like
into it. When is this? When is this supposed to come out? And where?
Let's face it. This is probably not going to actually happen.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be on Warner Brothers like streaming service like next year or something. I don't.
Is that even a real thing?
There's a DC streaming service. Everybody has. There's a YHS streaming service. It's called.
It's called Patreon.
No, it's called Stressflix.
Stressflix.
Yeah. Will one of our listeners, please make a Stress Flicks logo? Thank you. All right, Jake, before we get to stress, you went on an adventure. Oh, Jake liked that one. I like that. Jake went to Florida to be one with the alligators. And,
I did. I made it.
And anybody who follows us on or follows Jake on social media, maybe you saw some of your photographs and videos, but please give us a rundown of what's his name, Oliver?
Casper.
Where did I get Oliver from?
I don't know.
Goes to town.
You saying Oliver threw me off, and for a split second, I was like, "Is it Oliver?
Is his name Oliver?"
Oh my
Dude,
God,
cut to the alligator.
Was I calling him the wrong name the whole time?
Oh,
He cuts to
shit.
him, and he's like, "What an asshole!"
Like,
Called me
fuck
Oliver
that
all
guy.
weekend.
Jeremy, whatever.
Yeah, dude, tell us about your trip to Miami, to the Everglades.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a very long drive. It was like GPS said 7 hours. Stopping and getting food and all that shit. It ended up taking closer to like 9. But it was fine. I got down there pretty late Friday night. Saturday, I needed to be at the Everglades Outpost Park at like 8:30 in the morning. So obviously, I get there at like 7:30.
Yeah.
Because that's Jake.
Yeah.
Nobody's there. It's closed. I hang out until people start arriving.
We had to stop Jake from going to the airport for Fan Fest this weekend. We have 100 days.
I was booking a flight. Yeah, so no, I get down there pretty early. They start showing up. The guy, it's at like an animal rescue. Like there's somebody who lives on the premise. There's like a house. Like when I pulled in, there's just a house there. It looks like a house in somebody's yard, but there's like fence. Like his backyard basically is like an animal rescue for any kind of. There's all kinds of animals on the property, and it's. They're there from all kind of reasons. Like there's a lot of alligators there, and the alligators are all like, they're what they call like nuisance alligators. Like if an alligator were to like just wander into somebody's yard and you call animal control or something like that, they either have to just kill the alligator because you can't relocate an alligator, or it has to go to like a
preserve kind of thing,
a preserve or a rescue. So that's what they do. They'll take as many alligators as they can get. There was a camel there. There were wolves, like tigers, just like everything, monkeys, just all kinds of shit. And some of it was like the zebra. One of the guys was telling me the zebra was there because somebody bought it for like a petting zoo, and they were like trying to have kids ride on it, and you can't ride a zebra, and it kept like kicking kids off.
Dude,
So they like
I like that zebra.
There was like a lemur there that didn't have any teeth because its like former owner had all its teeth pulled out of its face, and I'm like, that's weird. But anyway, there is a pond. There's one pool that has 7 alligators in it, and a guy by the name of Chris Gillette who has spent his entire life doing. He was on. There was a show. I've never seen the show, but there was a show for a while on. I don't know if it was on Discovery or like A&E or whatever, called like Gator Boys. And he was on that show, and he's a herpetologist, and he studies, reptiles and all that shit. And he does the tour. We get out there, and he usually opens the tour up for like 5 people a day. And I was the only person, which was great because it was like it was a private thing. It was just me and him. He like went over some rules with me, and we just fucking got into a pool with 7 alligators, and I got to swim, in pretty close proximity with we focused mainly on the one alligator who is Casper, and he took like professional photographs while we were in there, which I'll get those in like a week or so. But yeah, that was it. I got to hang out and like swim with an alligator under, like I get to swim under it and sit on the bottom of a pool while it like swam over me, and just hung out with it for an hour.
Did you have any, I know it's safe, but did you have any like apprehension at all?
I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to be a little more nervous than I was. I have been in pretty close proximity with alligators before. Nothing, quite like this, but I have been around them a lot. It's just like, it's one of my favorite things to do, to learn about and to read about. So like, I know a good bit about them. I thought I was going to be a little freaked out or nervous, but as soon as like we just got in the water, and I've seen so many videos and pictures of him with this particular alligator. And I mean, they just hang out together. He's like picking him up, he's like, moving him around. He calls him by his name and he comes to
That's cool.
Yeah.
They don't like alligators aren't quite. I've had a lot of people ask me like, well, why is it not attacking you? Like they were like, it must have been fed well this morning. And I'm like, it actually didn't get fed before. I was there when the place opened. Nobody fed that alligator before we got it. That's not. They're not like the mindless murder machines that most people think they are. They're pretty smart. While they might attack you if you get close to them or whatever. Like 98% of like alligator attacks are the same reason that shark attacks happen. It's like mistaken identity, or they can't see well.
Or they track your family to the Bahamas.
They track your family to the Bahamas, that kind of thing. That old hat. But it's,
that old story.
They're that old chestnut. They're not as like. They don't just attack everything. They're usually like in the wild, alligators are kind of skittish and will run from you more often than they will run after you. Not that they won't sometimes, but they're wild animals, but that's just not how it works. Also, this animal in particular, he's been working with for like 15 years. It's been around people a lot. Alligators can learn their names. Like, they're just not as mindless as a lot of people think. So I wasn't that nerd. Like, we got in the water and it was fine.
It must be weird when that alligator gets around other alligators and he's like, "What y'all's names?" And they're like, "What's a name?"
What?
He's like, "You don't have a name." I'm Oliver or Casper.
It is a little weird because sometimes I'm in the water, and I'm looking at it, and like you can tell it's looking right at you, and I'm like. It's just he's watching you just as much as I'm watching him. But it was fine, man. Like we just took a bunch of pictures, did some like silly poses with him, and we did that for an hour. And then after that, I hung out and got to see the rest of the park. And then from that, I was pretty close to the actual Everglades National Park. So I went there and I spent pretty much the next 2 days just exploring the Everglades and, just checking out other animals and
that's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Like that.
You've got some good videos
That's
up on your
great-
Instagram.
That's a great experience.
I threw a couple videos together. You're allowed to bring your own camera like in there with Casper. And I did I just brought my phone and I did bring it in and film a little bit and take a few pictures, but I paid him. I paid him to take professional photos, and I also paid to be able to just be close to that alligator. So I didn't want to just like do the whole thing from behind my phone. So
it's like when you go to a concert and record the whole thing.
Yeah,
Just like
I didn't have my phone in there with me for most of the time. I was like, he's the photographer. He'll take the photos, and I'm super excited to get those back.
Yeah, it would be rude
I
too.
made a little video, and I posted on my social media, but maybe I'll post it in group therapy since we've been talking about it here. I know it's not really pertains to anything else we really talk about, but.
Well, it's an experience. It's Alligator Fan Fest.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, I'm jealous.
Think it pertains.
I want to get into a pool with Dan Aykroyd. And see,
You can't touch him though.
Swim over me.
Yeah, I want to swim under Dan Aykroyd and get some pictures. I was just trying to think, because Jake, you're such a...
Now, do you have to get a rash guard for meeting Dan Aykroyd?
For Dan Aykroyd, absolutely.
Yes, and a mask.
Got
Dude,
it.
I guarantee if you just went up to Dan Aykroyd and were like, "Hey, do you know anything about scuba diving?" He would just talk for an hour.
Yeah.
He'd be like, "Oh boy, let me tell you, I was licensed back in 1970," and you just go. And you'd be like, "Okay, here we go." Abby, are there like, so this is like a once in a lifetime type of experience for Jake. Is there like something similar? Like some people want to go skydiving. Some people want to go in a shark cage. I guess Jake probably wants to do that too.
I would do the same exact thing but like with I'm into like monkeys, honestly. And you mentioned that there were some like on that rescue spot.
See, monkeys are scarier to me.
Oh, I've spider monkeys in particular. I find them to be very adorable and menacing and mean, and like I would like to get in there with them and get as close to.
I'm sure there are a few places where you could do that. You know, like there. I mean, it's just the same thing. Like I'm sure there are some places where you can meet.
Yeah,
some
you know what I think?
For me personally, I feel like the cuddling and like getting close to. And like cute animals would probably be my equivalent, which I kind of run a cat shelter at this point out of our house. So
you
like,
do, yeah.
I think it'd be cool to get some flubber.
Wait,
just to have like real flubber. I'm just saying.
So you can say nurturing things to it.
Yeah. You're not sleeping with it, are you?
Oh, it's always the quiet
same
one.
thing. Jake,
quotes.
man, I think that's really awesome. I'm really glad that you got to do that. That's such a special thing.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks.
And I think I would do that. Like if you're with trusted people, like I'd get in that.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, the guy like obviously knows what he's doing. It's not just like he knows what he's doing, and it's not something you would do with any alligator. You know, like the circumstances are pretty ideal.
Yeah, Jake, don't just
for that to happen.
The next day, Jake went to the actual Everglades, and
See, I know
he jumped
Casper.
in. And he
I
didn't
jumped
come
in.
back.
I was just like, hey, you guys know Casper? He's a friend of mine. I would definitely do it again, man. Like,
Casper.
Jesus Christ. I would do it again, yeah, for sure. Like it was fun.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Well, we'll be on the lookout for those pictures and those videos.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys ready to do some stress?
You look a little stressed.
Is this some radical new therapy?
Why don't you do something with your life? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
That's where we do our stress. This is kind of like our oldest segment. It's what the whole podcast started with. This is where we each bring some real life stress to the table. We discuss it. We have a little therapy session. It's fun. I have fun with it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Abby,
Yeah.
what are you stressing about this week?
Lord, I am. I'm stressed about a lot of things right now. The biggest thing is Captain Marvel related, and I mean the fact is the movie comes out next week. Very
God, does it?
Yeah, I know. That's insane. And this is one that I feel like I've been following closely since things started leaking and coming out about this, which is it's what I did with Guardians of the Galaxy too. Brie Larson has been on my radar. I've been following her on Instagram, and I've been very inspired by her and her workout routine, how well read she is and well spoken and like woke and cool. And I was watching her on the Oscars, actually. Her and Samuel L. Jackson had, I don't remember the award they gave away, but their energy and their chemistry was like adorable on stage. And she looked fantastic. I was getting extremely amped for this movie. I was actually looking, one of our listeners, Stephanie Monica, sent me these really cool Captain Marvel boxing gloves that are like $240 like Japanese expensive.
She sent them to you?
Leather. No, she didn't actually. I wish that would be nice if she wants to.
I was like, really? That's amazing.
No, on Instagram she DM'd me a picture and I was like, oh shit! I hope they have a payment plan. I really want these.
I hope everything. Dude, at this point, like I bought a Tombstone pizza the other day. I was like, I hope they have a payment plan for it. It's fucking Fan Fest.
I literally bought something on a payment plan yesterday.
Oh shit.
Ordering Oreos on a payment plan. Yeah, so I'm into this. And last night I was making Craig order a Captain Marvel like tank top for me to wear to the movie off of Fifth Son. I was like half asleep. I was like, you have to order it. I need it. Because I was planning my outfit ahead of time like I like to do. So obviously I've been extremely pumped for this movie, and it feels like it's going to be fantastic. And just like a couple of other movies that I've been really into, that have been, I'll just get right to it. Fucking, I'm sure you all have seen like the Rotten Tomatoes thing. Basically, Rotten Tomatoes had to turn off and disable the comments because the people were commenting, trolls basically, just the same as with Answer the Call or with Black Panther or The Last Jedi for that matter. Basically, like they dropped the score from 96% to 54% and were leaving like just heinous comments. And that shit just, it sucks and it kind of deflates from the momentum that you have, and you just kind of want to get it away from you. And
what is their problem with Captain Marvel? Is it just because it's strong females?
Yeah, and I think that Brie Larson in some interviews, she mentioned something about how she noticed that a lot of the guys on the interview circuit or she basically mentioned that it was a lot of white males that were conducting the interviews, and in her opinion was stating that she thinks there should be a little bit more representation and equality in that front. And I think that out of context, that was enough for people to go after her.
Oh, I can't believe somebody could take something out of context and freak out.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like something people would do.
Exactly. I don't think it's not gonna like ruin my day or anything. It's just, I think it's more annoying than anything.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you're taking time out of your day to go to Rotten Tomatoes to leave angry comments about a movie that you haven't seen, it's like,
yeah, that's not even out yet.
It's
exactly.
just so. And also, like, it's Captain Marvel. It's the next chapter of the MCU. Like, it's reasonable to expect that this movie's probably going to be pretty good. Like, I just don't. It's like you don't even want to talk about it because it kind of gives them what they want, which is attention.
Yeah, so fuck them. I'm going to talk about the other parts of the interview that I watched with Brie Larson today, where she was talking about how much she used to love to go to Blockbuster as a little girl and like look through the aisles for movies that had come out, and the fact that there's an entire scene within a Blockbuster. And I was listening to the people who worked on like set deck and who worked on building that Blockbuster. The guy used to work for a Blockbuster in the 90s, like in 1995.
Of course he did.
So I'm just excited
I have a
to
feeling
have
that like 90% of people, like PAs in the like film industry, probably worked at a Blockbuster. Everybody.
GameStop.
I wanted to. That was like my dream job.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I could rent so many movies.
Yeah, and the guy that was doing the interview was like, he used to work at a movie theater, like taking tickets. So it's, yeah, you go into the field, and it was a really good interview that I watched. And she's very intelligent, inspirational, fantastic human being. So I hope that this movie makes a fuck ton of money. I have a feeling it will. I'm not worried about it, but you know, fuck them. Brush your shoulders off, Brie.
Yeah, thank God. Brie, call us.
Yeah, I'll hang out with you.
I can't believe this movie comes out next week. Like, and then we've got Avengers. Is like, doesn't it? Okay, so we're like, I don't know, like a month and a half or maybe 2 months away from the new Avengers Endgame. Doesn't it feel like we just did our Avengers Infinity War episode? Like,
well, because
yesterday?
it was just like, I mean, it was last year, right?
Yeah, but like I know it's almost a year ago, but it literally feels like it was a month ago.
Yeah.
Plus, I watched Infinity War again on Netflix. I mean, Stress Flicks. It's so good. It really is good.
It's fantastic, yeah.
It is good, yeah.
Okay. Abby, what else? Or is it just Captain Marvel?
I mean, that's pretty much it, other than like I'm going into this movie super duper pumped, and there's already some detractors, which is just reminiscent of things in the past.
Dude,
like
we're
Answer
about to
the
go
Call.
fully fledged into a new Ghostbusters movie. I'm ready to like take on the world.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
I'm also ready to not give my opinion of Ghostbusters until I watch it 7 times.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I
Guys.
think people shouldn't give their opinion on movies.
It was
until they've seen them.
fantastic.
We're gonna plane cast.
Oh, we're playing casting.
Yes.
Big time. Cool.
Dude.
Well, Jake, you'll I'll do my stress next. Thank you, Abby.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mine is actually Ghostbusters related. It has to do with Ghostbusters Fan Fest. So once we all got over the sticker shock of the pricing, and then we said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it costs that much." Going anyway. Class 10 tickets. You get the photo op with the original cast plus autographs, and then you also get the photo op with the real Ghostbusters cast plus autographs. So one thing when we go to conventions, it's like a tradition on the podcast. We got to have that discussion about what are we getting signed.
Yeah.
We have to. So I wanted to do that right now.
Okay.
So we can all participate in my stress. I ordered the new Mondo print for Ghostbusters for the 35th anniversary, and it's shipping in April. So my initial thing was, well, I want to have a print signed by William Atherton, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and Ivan Reitman, and of course any other cast members that they add from the first movie. So I'm sure that that's what I'm going to do. But if they add other people who are from Ghostbusters 2, I'm not going to have Ghostbusters 2 cast members. Like if Kurt Fuller was there or Robin Shelby or somebody specific to GB2, I'm not going to have, or Bobby Brown. He's not going to be there. He's not going to be there.
I don't think so.
Do you guys think R. Kelly's going to be at Space Jam Fan Fest? I don't think so. Not that R. Kelly is... Bobby Brown's great... Compared to R. Kelly, Bobby Brown's the greatest human being that's ever lived. He's Mother Teresa. R. Kelly's a piece of fucking shit, and I hope I did... Anyways.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyways.
We're about to disable Craig's comment section.
Did you see R. Kelly's lawyer in court when he was being arraigned said that he wasn't a flight risk because unlike the lyrics to the song, he doesn't like flying?
Are you serious?
That really happened. Like, oh,
God,
cool.
That's amazing.
Way to take this seriously, bud.
I love the world we live in.
So I want to get this print signed, but then I started thinking about like the real Ghostbusters cast members. Like, what do I have them get signed? And then I started thinking about Abby.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get autographs too. And Jake, you're going to have to get autographs too. And like,
that's what we were thinking is like everything that we're getting twice.
Well, 3 times.
3 times.
But Jake doesn't live here, but he will.
Right.
Eventually.
You guys are getting them twice. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that should be less stressful for you guys because you guys have a backup. You're getting 2 autographs
from
everybody.
Oh, I'm getting more than that. I'm gonna add like in that breakfast. I'm getting like 10 autographs from Ivan. I'm bringing a sack full of stuff out.
I'm getting a to-go box.
Yeah, like Ivan, Dan. I literally thought I was like, am I gonna buy a bottle of Crystal Head vodka because I don't have a Crystal Head signed. Anyway,
I want to be that guy who just gets like goes to Walmart the weekend before and buys the DVD, like the worst mass market version of you can find of the movie, and then I know somebody who does that.
Yeah,
and
do it.
I just think that's fun. I just think it's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been stressed about what to get signed. I found these other prints from the real Ghostbusters today, and I was like, it'll be convenient because we have those poster tubes, so we can bring multiple prints.
Yeah.
But then like, I was like, maybe I'll get like a soundtrack signed. I don't want 8x10s. No. You know, like I don't want that.
No.
But I've been stressed. Jake, have you thought about what you're getting signed?
I have, and it also stresses me out. But I think I have a solution as of now. But it's like also one of those things where it's far enough out that I could change my mind 15 times before this happens. But I have a print. It was one of the. God, I believe they did a Ghostbusters show. I think it might have been Gallery 1988 maybe, or was it Bottleneck? Or
it was for the 30th anniversary, they had a bunch of artists they did like a traveling art show.
Yeah, okay. Well, I have one it's the Ecto one, and it's like it's the Ecto one from the front. And then the rest of the print is just red, and it's a very beautiful print. And yeah, it's the Ecto one from Ghostbusters 1, but also I feel like the car it's a constant in everything. Even though the car looks different, even though we have the Ecto 1A in Ghostbusters 2, I still feel like the Ecto 1 can represent everything, like the cartoon, everything. And I feel like also the print has the way the rest of the space is. It would just look amazing, just covered in all. Like if I just got everybody, cartoon, GB2, GB1, just let everybody sign this one print. I think it makes sense without, because I feel the way you do. I wouldn't get, if it was specifically a Ghostbusters 1 poster, I would have to get more things. But I feel like this print specifically would work just for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a cool thing to just have all those autographs on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to compliment Jake on this print. This is one of the this is one of the best Ghostbusters prints. It's from DKNG, and it was Gallery 88.
Yes.
It's a beautiful print. I never noticed it has a little reflection of Stay Puft in the
it does, yeah.
in the windshield. And there is so much red space that with like a white, I feel like a white paint pen or a black, like it would pop so well just to
It
get
would look
signatures.
great.
all-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now too.
That's my plan. Like, unless I see something, we've talked about it before. There are a lot of Ghostbuster prints, but I don't love a lot of them. Like, there's only a few that I'm really super in love with, and this is one of them. And I think it encompasses just the general feel of Ghostbusters, and because it's only the car, I feel like I can get away with having the other actors on it.
I also had this idea of taking a picture with William Atherton and checking to see if he had a dick. Just to see. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And then the real Ghostbusters guys, like, man, do you get a DVD signed? Do you get, like, I've got some, like, animation cells. I've got RGB action figures. Like, there's so much, like, I got to put some real thought into this, guys. I'm not walking into Fan Fest without a, like, here's the thing. I always do this with conventions where I have all this stress, but then I get there and I'm like, I don't want to spend all this money. But this is already paid for.
But like, this is paid for. This is included. We are getting all the autographs. It's happening.
And then I was like, I don't know. Do I want just 7 different things? I'm going to have to ship it all home. This is crazy. This is because as of right now, they could add more guests, but right now it's guaranteed 7 autographs because you got the 3 and then the 4.
I say we lay everything out that's a possibility in the collection and run down the list. But then I was like,
what if I get Ray Parker Jr. to sign that print too?
Yeah, for sure.
I can't. I'm not going.
It's too stressful.
It'll be better for me to not go.
Craig, we'll bring the Slimer mask and just keep adding to the Slimer mask.
It would be like, so, oh, look, what is this, Slimer? Mr. Dan Aykroyd, does that look like one of your pets? Maybe.
Hey, we're gonna play a game at Fan Fest to see who can get Dan Aykroyd to spoil the new Ghostbusters movie.
Oh my God!
You know he's gonna say some stuff. Do you think before the weekend, Ivan Reitman is gonna, or like Jason Reitman is gonna be like, look, Dan, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything about the, like.
Can I tell you something?
Hard.
I want to take him out and get drinks and like
I don't think they told
serenade him.
There's no way they've told him.
They're keeping him away. He's probably the star of the movie and has no idea.
He has no. Why would you? Because if you tell him
Truman
anything,
Show.
Okay, right. Listen, let's say the plot was Ray Stan's grandchildren move back to their hometown and reconnect with their grandfather and find out the secrets of Ghostbusters. Let's say that was the plot. If we were like, so Dan, off the record, what's the new movie about? He'd be like, oh boy, do we got something big planned for you guys. They're gonna bring my grandchildren up to Canada. We're sitting there playing with the proton pack and boom, the Ecto-1. Oh boy, that's a Cadillac right there. And then I'm just gonna be like, dude, he's telling us the whole movie. And then Ivan, they're gonna, no, dude, Eric. Somebody's
going to be hired to stand around with a fucking tranquilizer gun. And as soon as Dan Aykroyd starts saying something, it's like,
no, they're going to be like,
pops him in the neck with it.
Use the boson dart. Yeah, we got a problem here.
Starting to get numb.
It's like fucking Will Ferrell in old school. We need paramedics at the VIP Ghostbusters breakfast. Dan Aykroyd.
We got a Dan down.
Fucking Slugsworth there, removing the. I don't know why he would be there. Telling us the secrets of Ghost Corps.
Yeah. Jeez.
When you go in there, I need you to grab the proton pack. Bring it to me, Charlie. I'm excited. I'm giddy is the word I would use. I'm very excited. We're going to be talking about Fan Fest for the next couple months, so get used to it. Strap on your Alice frames. That made no sense. Somebody today, I saw somebody post today, they ordered a Novos proton pack, and they got it like 6 months ago, and they just got the Alice frame in the mail, and it was missing all of like the buckles and everything.
Oh, great.
So good job. Nice job you did, Novos. All right, that's my stress. It's autographs. If anybody has any suggestions for what should get signed, or any of us, please let us know, and yes, have some group therapy. Jake,
yeah.
You got some stress?
Well, a couple things, yeah.
A couple tiny things.
Tiny couple strips.
You know, first of all, it's the thing that's really bothering me today is, you know, I follow a couple of like VHS accounts on Instagram, you know, where you can like buy, sell, and trade, you know, VHS tapes. There's a pretty big community for that out there, and one of the ones I follow they posted this really great Universal Studio. I sent you guys a picture of it. It was a Universal Studios like promotional VHS. I don't even know exactly what it's for, but it's got a very cool cover. It's got like Back to the Future and Beetlejuice on it, and it says like experience the magic of movies, and it's, you know, got the Universal logo on it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care what this is. I need it. So I bought it over 2 weeks ago, and I have not heard anything. It hasn't arrived. I messaged the account a few days ago, like just saying like, hey, just wondering, you know, if this is shipped yet. They haven't even seen my message, nor have they even posted anything since February the 10th. And I'm like, did I just lose my money? What is happening? It's very stressful. I feel like I might have just like, I don't care about the money I lost. I just want that tape. I've never seen it before, and now sucks. I think I got screwed out of my money here.
So you bought it off Instagram?
I bought it off an Instagram page, and you know what? Like, they don't have a whole lot of posts. Like, they hadn't been around that long. Mm-hmm. So it just bums me out. They have some cool tapes on here, and I follow a lot of these. And why
don't I go to their page? And is it still for sale on their page?
No, it's marked. That post is still up, but it's marked sold. They have some other, you know, tapes, and I left a comment on one of their pictures today, and I tagged them in it, and I was like, hey, I sent you guys a DM. But they haven't been on since February. Or they haven't posted since February the 10th.
All right, this is gonna sound really bad, but I've had these thoughts before. What if they died? Like I've thought about that. Like I like, okay, you buy something off eBay. Sucks. You buy something off eBay. You're like, yes, I got a great deal. I haven't heard anything. Like what? Like people who die have eBay accounts. Like
who takes care of that?
Yeah. Oh, somebody dies. And their family finds them and they're distraught. Nobody is going, let's check and see if they had any pending sales on eBay. Like nobody.
Yeah.
Guys,
somebody should.
I'm sick in the head, man. Did you guys see? This is also very morbid. There was an airplane crash the other day in Houston, and it was an Amazon Prime plane. There was only 3 people on board. I think one of them survived, but it crashed into a river. Like, think of all those packages.
Those packages aren't showing up on them.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is,
my worst fear.
Those are all 1 day Prime. Those are 2-day deliveries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is where my head goes. This is not safe zone for me. Jake, I hope for the people who run that account, I hope they're alive. And if they are alive, they better message you back.
I just want the tape, man. I just want the tape.
I hope they're alive. I just want the tape.
I get it. You're not mad. Just want to watch it.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
What else? Is that it? Is that your stress?
No. Well, I mean that's the main thing there. But you know, there's something that's been stressing me out that has kind of been slowly creeping up on me, and I think all 3 of us. You know, we've talked about multiple times since we visited the home of Bobby 80s. We have really kicked up our collections. Like, I mean, my toy room has done like a complete 180. Like, I have almost replaced every shelf I own with like DTOVs or some other sort of like nice display cases, and, you know, getting lights for things, just making sure everything looks right. And I've also never been like a completist when it comes to toys. I've always been like, well, I'll just get the few that I really want, and then I'll move on and I'll do this. But seeing Bobby 80's collection made me literally go out and buy the entire Kenner Series 1 Jurassic Park, which we have talked about. And being at your place last month and seeing your Kenner Real Ghostbusters collection, I have a good bit of Kenner Real Ghostbusters collection, but after seeing that, I was like, well, shit. I gotta do this now. And
you gotta.
I was at your house adding shit to my eBay watch list. I'm like, I'm not even done with my Jurassic Park yet, and I'm already moving on to fucking Kenner Ghostbusters over here.
Dude, that's like petting Oliver while you're still at Casper.
So like that's stressful because now I'm at this point where Series 1 Jurassic Park is basically complete. And I'm like, well, I want to move on to Series 2. I want to get the entire Jurassic Park. I don't know if I'm going to go into like the other movies, but as far as Jurassic Park, I want that entire line. So now I'm like, do I go ahead and knock out Series 2? Or do I want to start getting some Ghostbuster stuff? I have all this like real Ghostbuster stuff added to my watch list on eBay that I'm watching. Also, whenever I rearranged my entire toy room, it left me with I ended up with two problems. I ended up with two shelves that are like, you know, the black cheaper shelves that I used to have everything in. And as far as what's on them, it's all random. Every shelf is random. There's no, besides like a couple Star Wars shelves, none of it is really themed. So I'm like, do I even want to keep that stuff around? It's weird now. The rest of the room is very organized, and Ghostbusters here, Jurassic Park here, Godzilla here. You know what I mean? It's very organized to where everything is. And then you get to the corner and there's these two shelves that are just like, here's some Chucky toys. Here's a little bit of NECA. Here's Lost figure. You know what I mean? It's all.
You know what though? I get that stress, but like I think any collector, no matter if you have a big collection or small collection, you're always going to have a couple of those
rando shelves.
Those miscellaneous shelves.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. It's got like Coneheads figures and the Bill and Ted cards and some random Marvel stuff and my Guardians things. It's like it's going to happen, but and Jake, I understand.
I fully support you getting in on this RGB train because, like, I had a Brain Blaster Ghost come in today. I took a break for a couple weeks. Had to take had to breathe a little bit. Plus, we got Toylanta coming up. We got the toy show next week. But I love it, man. It's been. If you would have show, okay, I'm in my toy room right now. We went to see Rob in October. So if in September this year you took a picture of this room and said, hey, this is what it's going to look like in February, I would have been like, yeah, I know. I would have been like, oh, where? I would have thought that I like inherited a bunch, like, because
did I win? When do I win the lottery?
You know what though? It's like money is just like that's just a social construct.
It's fake.
Like,
yeah,
it's
not
even real.
It doesn't really exist.
Well, dude, I fully support you going down that real Ghostbusters rabbit hole, but I also think that you need to finish that Jurassic Park line.
I know. I think the Jurassic Park line is definitely. What's that?
I think you should scratch the RGB itch. If you got it, diversify your portfolio.
I do want to be like, when I started buying the Jurassic Park stuff, I really felt, because I've never been able to just complete a toy line, I was like, I'm doing this and I need to do it. So I am going to finish that Jurassic Park line. But then another thing that happened is I have this pretty big display case, and it's like a store display case. It's pretty long, and I lined all my Maddie collector Ghostbuster figures in there, and realized that I own that entire run except for I think 2 figures, and they're all in package. Like everything is mint in package. Entire, and I know that's not it's not very old.
It's getting there. It's about 10 years older.
But that was a big run. That was a big run of figures. I have all the exclusive stuff. I have the Stay Puffed. I have all of it. I'm just missing like 2 figures, and I'm like, why? One, how did I miss 2 figures? And why didn't I buy them? Like, just I have to complete that line.
I agree, man. Complete the Matty Collector line. It'll feel good.
It will. I'll have to completely rearrange all my Ghostbuster shit.
Yeah, because if you buy one, you buy one more, it's gonna throw your whole thing off.
It's not gonna fit. Yeah, they already won't fit. Like the amount of Matty Collector figures I have now. This includes like the Toys R Us Ghostbusters 2 like 4-pack, and
which I've never had.
Also, it's great. Also it also includes the 12-inch figures that came out. They all fit perfectly, 2 rows all the way across in that display case. One more Matty Collector figure is just gonna have to go in a different spot.
Dude, it's crazy to think, like, I know sometimes people complain that there's not as much Ghostbusters merch as other like properties, but there's a lot. Like if you want to collect go
to Bobby 80's house.
Oh, he's got it all.
You'll see some
He's got it
stuff.
all.
Yeah.
Real quick to tag all this, props to Diamond Select Toys customer service. I had bought a real Ghostbusters Winston, and the pack was broken out of the package, and they sent me a new one. Came yesterday. Took like 2 weeks.
Job.
And
Nice.
I appreciate that. But
Very
now I'm
cool.
like, what am I doing with this other Winston?
Now you got a next.
Winston.
Oh, you gonna do a custom?
Getting it signed.
Do some kind of custom with it.
I don't know, like paint is.
Paint it like a prototype.
Oh, and then it's a prototype. Winston's kind of. It's probably worth like $1,000.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, listen, we're gonna wrap it up. We've covered a lot of ground. This was good. This was a good catch up. I really liked covering all of the things we talked about. Listen, if you're into Yes Have Some podcasts and you're subscribing and you're listening, make sure that you're checking us out on social media at YHS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. And then, of course, we got the official Facebook group, Yes Have Some Group Therapy. People are bringing their A game. A lot of good conversations going on in there. Abby, if you want to join group therapy, tell them what to do.
Go to Facebook. Go to Yes Have Some podcast page on Facebook. You can search for it. It will pop up. Scroll on down. You'll see group therapy. And that is our group, which Craig just mentioned. Click it and ask to join. Jake might let you in faster than I will. Because he's more accepting than I am, apparently.
We got a competition going on.
Yeah, we want to see who's more accepting. So yeah, go ahead and join our group, guys, because it's a fun place to be. And we just basically talk about all the stuff we talk about on the show, and you can engage and talk about the things you're stressed about shopping for and buying.
Yeah.
And
Not as much Bohemian Rhapsody and A Star Is Born talk on group therapy as there is on the podcast.
Yeah.
But we talk about a lot in there, whether it's Ghostbusters, Star Wars, toys, Jurassic Park, everything, Batman. There's so much going on. There's so many movies coming out. So if you need to get that stress off your chest, head over to group therapy and join up and join the stress crew. That's what I always tell people. Welcome to the stress crew.
yeah, and subscribe to our YouTube channel too. I put a video up this past week and I was talking about Ghostbusters stuff. So we're gonna keep doing those.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Do
man.
it.
Yeah,
so,
do it.
Okay, so let's say you're a first-time listener. This is the first time you ever listen to Yes Have Some. All you have to do now is go to iTunes, leave a 5-star review, join Patreon for $5 a month, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and then join Yes Have Some Group Therapy, and then subscribe on YouTube. That's it.
It's easy.
It's so easy.
God, that's easy.
And then buy a shirt.
Yeah.
YesHaveSomeShop.com.
Dude.
Do we got shirts?
We got some shirts up there.
We're gonna have
cool.
fanny packs because that's my idea.
Abby, Abby had the idea.
I have been designing a custom fanny pack and modeling after the fanny pack after a old Guess fanny pack from like the mid 90s.
Very cool.
But it doesn't say Guess.
It doesn't say Guess.
What does it say?
It's gonna say Barge.
Yes.
Yes. Love it.
It's
Love
gonna
Barge
be
bags. Yes, have some barge bags.
Barge bags.
Barge
That sounds
bags.
great. I like that.
Woo.
Cool. Well,
you can keep everything you need in it for the convention
and you can use it as a barf bag if you're like on a cruise.
or a barf bag
I'm barging over
when
here.
you're nervous in line.
Listen, everybody, thank you so
Hey,
much.
hold on. I got a real extra small quick stress. My new driver's license came in today, and I fucking hate the photograph. All right.
Oh,
That
Jake.
is real
It
stress.
For
is
real.
bad. My last one was so good.
Was
this
it?
one's awful, and I'm stuck with it until 2027.
Fuck, dude, that's a really long time.
I just re-signed up for 8 years, and I've had the same picture for like 6. So
Yeah, I need a new one. It was it was an in between.
Part of me is like, can I just go to the DMV and be like, hey, I need a new driver's license and just pay for a new one?
Probably.
Like, will they do that?
Why can't they use my Instagram profile pic?
Only have some podcast hosts would volunteer to go to the DMV to take a new picture. We are so insane.
Oh my god.
Well, that was my. You know what? We'll continue it next week. We got to wrap it up.
Where the Jake's at the DMV, ask the person in front of him if it's the line for Richard Dreyfuss.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I guess.
I gotta get a snack.